what are the things that really like gas you up to like be involved with? Like, what are the things you're passionate about? Because you got a job, but then you have like, you're passionate about people, I could tell, but like, what really lights you up?
That's a great question. I think seeing people who are like, I could never talk about like me, I could never share like the behind the scenes of how like hard it is without getting emotional, or the hard, the ups and downs. And then like, I don't know, I get to all my shoots early, like really early. And I want to make sure that like we're laughing, we're talking, we're just getting prepped and primed, as they say. But really the first couple questions, like it can be rocky sometimes, but really what lights my fire is like, I'll ask something, just like not even really relevant to the conversation, just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, tell me about this. And they're like, oh my gosh, my child made that for me. And this is such a cool story because it actually relates to what we're talking about today. And I'm like, pop off, like tell me about the drawing. Cause I know now, like they're comfortable, they're excited to talk about whatever they're going to be talking about. And it's really just like the fire that lights up in other people's eyes that like lights mine. So, and kind of same thing like with the anti-competitiveness. It's like, I prefer not to talk in interviews. Like, I just want to give you like a little tee up and like go off to the races. Like that's how I conduct most of my interviews. So yeah, while I am like a big personality, like I like to have my little quips here and there, my goal is really to just like let them talk. And so seeing them get excited and knowing that like I kind of propped him up in that way, I'm like, let's go, God, like we did it, I love that. I love that.
That's awesome. If you had to give some advice, so here, because without a shadow of a doubt, if you're looking at like the value of your business, right? If you're a business owner and you're looking at like, how is my business evaluated? There's just as much value in your community presence and your culture as there is your bottom dollar. And that's true in investors and clients and customers. They like to know, it's a cool moment for us. Like this past weekend, we donated $148,000 to the Carolina Miracle League. Yeah.
Awesome.
Crazy moment. And doing it, like the goal was 100 and we thought that was impossible. And then we rallied around and almost, it was insane. We did over 4 times what we gave last year. And in that moment, it was kind of surreal. And I remember coming home, and I talked about this on some other episodes, but like sitting there, my wife's like, what's going on? I was like, wasn't like people made this possible. Like people bought the product. And as a result, this happens. It's not even my money. Like it's community. It's part of who we are. And like everybody's rallied around it. And it's so much bigger than me. Because I didn't even know if 100 grand was possible. Like I was kind of hesitant throwing that number around. And then I remember walking in and seeing that like they wrote that big check and they had it in my office. And I was like, wow, I can't believe we're giving that much money. And then literally the same day, another person called and donated another $10,000 and made it even bigger. And I'm like, this is insanity. And so in knowing that, what would you say to someone to like how they could get engaged with community? Like if they're in business, they're doing something, like what's something they could do just organically to go out and connect with the community?
Well, when I moved here, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anything about Greenville. I mean, you can do all you can on Google search, right? But like you don't know anything until you move to this place. You're getting ingrained. I had a conversation with somebody one time when I first moved here, and they were like, do you struggle with making connections as friends, but knowing that you want stories from them? And I was like, well, that's just it. Like, I don't see them as like what they can give me. It's more just like, I'm here to be your friend. Like, I'm here to know like what you know about Greenville. Like, what do you love about this place? Like, what are some places I should check out? And so that really was a shift, I think, in my thinking moving here, realizing I know nothing about this place, right? Or like, I don't know anything about, say, a business that you're talking about, right? Or a business owner can walk into a room like a networking event, where instead of like trying to see how many business cards you can hand out, like see how many you can get in, like how many people did you talk to, did you learn from? And I think that perspective has helped me a lot because, yes, I would love to talk about your story one day and like I want you to trust me, but if that doesn't happen, we're friends. And like that's a bigger win for me. So I think just like going into the perspective of like winning the friendship, winning the trust. And if the product comes from it, amazing. But if it doesn't, you're still spreading your name. You're spreading, that you're just there to be a good person and get to know them.
Yep. Well, everything's a value exchange. And I think some people get themselves so hyped up because they're thinking like, what can I get out of that room? Like you said, and really it's what can you give? Yeah. And I tell you someone who does a really good job of that is Chris Sweet. He owns
he does.
Swamp Rabbit. And he's one of my best friends, and he's as busy or busier than me at any given time. But he is a masterful networker, and like his ability to walk into a room and just not even say anything, just support people.
Yeah.
And just see what that's done for his own business, like his leverage and connections and things that he does. Like he's just really, really, really good at connecting with absolutely nothing in mind. Like he desires nothing from the room.
Right. Right.
And he's great at it. And so I think a lot of people just get in their own way because they don't know how to connect. Like find something that brings something bigger than just the business, because it's so easy to get inside of it and just think like dollars and cents and red and black. And
so easy.
But
and one thing I was going to just mention on that too, like even if you don't have anything in common, like Chris is a master, like you said, and like I've seen him do it. He's amazing. But even if like you don't like have that whatever like niche that he does, like, hey, being like verbal and like communicating like, hey, TJ, like you do such a great job at this. Like, I just want to tell you, I admire this part about your business. And it's like, boom, off to the races. That's what like I've been working on more so like the last 6 or 7 months. Just like I'm thinking these compliments and like I have so much admiration for like things that people are doing. Like, why don't I just say them? And that's such a good way to connect too, where like, oh, tell me more about how you like chose a certain style for your outfit today. Like she's a boutique owner. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Oh, in Greer, I love to do more stories in Greer. It's like, bam, So actually telling people what you're proud of and like what you see. I know you do a great job of that too with your people.
Well, I mean, like, and to speak to you a little bit on this is like, I've interacted with so many people in the media world and this big personality thing, and like it's like this moment happens and then it's gone. And then with you though, like like you're connected on social, like it's not uncommon for you to like pop like, oh my God, this something, and then or like running each other in public and you're like, hey, what's up, to where people are like, who is that? I'm like, how do you not know who that is? But it's authentic, and I think you can't replicate authenticity with anything other than authenticity. Like if it's artificial at all, people know.
Very true.
They know.
Very true.
And so again, to build community within whatever you're doing is very easy if you focus on it and you put a priority in it, and like you're in the ultimate seat to do it because you have a great value exchange. Like, hey, I'm gonna come learn about your business, but I'm also gonna tell 100 million people about it.
Right.
Yeah. But it is authentic, and I've done it. I've did the interviews, and then I've had other employees do them, and it's a conversation, and like you're genuinely interested in it, and like like it's not just a moment and done. It's authentic, and I think that's why you've had so much success, and why people trust you to come in and MC events and help host things and be involved in things that you could easily say no to. Like your schedule isn't that open,
Right.
but you're a yes girl, like, and so. Yeah. Being able to step into the arena, it's built on trust. And I think, there's tons of people who could probably put together some kind of moment, but carrying that authenticity through it to where it's like, we're friends.
Right.
Like, I consider Ava a friend.
Absolutely.
And so like, yeah, I think people try to complicate it more than it needs to be. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options, or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.